Michael's hands froze on the doorknob. The man standing on his porch shouldn't be alive. 20 years ago, Michael pulled him from a burning vehicle in Iraq, a nameless soldier he never saw again. Now that soldier is here, at Michael's door, as his son's boss, and he has no idea who Michael is. What happens next will shatter them both.
Michael's hands shook as he poured the coffee. Black, no sugar, same as every morning for 23 years. The mug said, "World's Best Dad" in faded letters. Eric gave it to him when he was 7. Eric was 29 now. "He's killing me, Dad." Eric sat at the kitchen table, still in his work uniform. The blue polo shirt had Redstone Logistics stitched across the pocket. His steel-toed boots were covered in warehouse dust. "I don't mean it. This guy is insane." Michael sat down across from him. The chair creaked. Everything in this house creaked. What happened today? Same thing that happens every day. Daniel stands there with his clipboard watching us like we're criminals. Tommy dropped 1 pallet. 1! The guy wrote him up, made him stay 2 extra hours to reorganize the entire section. Eric rubbed his face. His eyes were red. He'd been working doubles all week. "I can't do this anymore. I'm thinking about quitting." "You're not quitting." Michael's voice was quiet but firm. He took a sip of coffee. It burned going down. Good. He needed to feel something. Jobs aren't easy to find right now. "You don't get it. This guy, Captain Daniels, he acts like we're still in the military or something. Everything's in order. Everything's by the book. He doesn't care that we're humans." Eric stood up and walked to the fridge, grabbed a beer, twisted the cap off. "Sorry, I know you don't like me drinking before dinner." "It's fine." Michael stared at his coffee. The surface was still. His reflection stared back at him. An old man, 52 but looked 60. Gray hair, lines around his eyes that never went away. "You're not quitting." Michael's voice was quiet but firm. He took a sip of coffee. It burned going down. Good. He needed to feel something. "Jobs aren't easy to find right now." "You don't get it. This guy, Captain Daniels, he acts like we're still in the military or something. Everything's in order. Everything's by the book. He doesn't care that we're humans." Michael stared at his coffee. The surface was still. His reflection stared back at him. An old man, 52 but looked 60. Gray hair, lines around his eyes that never went away. Michael stared at his coffee. The surface was still. His reflection stared back at him. An old man, 52 but looked 60. Gray hair, lines around his eyes that never went away. "I'm on your side, son." Michael looked up. Made himself look Eric in the eyes. Always. Eric's shoulders dropped. The anger leaked out of him like air from a tire. "I know. I'm sorry. It's just been a rough week." He sat back down, took a long drink. "Daniel's having some big company dinner thing next Friday. He's inviting everyone to his house. Mandatory. Can you believe that? Mandatory fun at the boss's house." That's weird, right? It's like a power move or something. Show us his big house, his perfect life, make us feel small. Eric finished the beer, set it down gently this time. "He told me I could bring someone, family member or whatever. You want to come?" Michael's chest tightened. Social situations, crowds, strangers asking questions. "Thank you for your service. What was it like over there? Did you kill anyone?" The questions they asked with their eyes, even when their mouths stayed shut. "I don't think that's a good idea." "Come on, Dad, please. I need backup. If you're there, I won't say something stupid and get myself fired." Eric leaned forward. His eyes were pleading now. Just this once, for me. Michael thought about saying no. He'd gotten good at saying no. No to barbecues, no to church, no to the VFW meetings, no to everything that required him to be around people who didn't understand. But this was Eric, his son, the kid who used to wait by the window every time Michael came home on leave, the teenager who barely spoke to him when he got back broken, the man who still called him every Sunday, even when Michael didn't pick up. Okay, I'll go. Eric's face broke into a smile, a real one. Michael couldn't remember the last time he'd seen that. Thanks, Dad, really. It'll be fine, just a couple hours. Free food, then we leave.
The week passed like it always did, slow. Michael worked his shift at the hardware store, helped customers find screws and drill bits and paint, went home, made dinner, watched the news, fell asleep in his chair, woke up at 3 a.m. from dreams that weren't dreams. Smoke, fire, screaming, the smell of burning flesh that never left his nose no matter how many years passed. Friday came. Eric picked him up at 6. He'd changed into khakis and a button-down shirt. Michael wore jeans and the only nice shirt he owned that still fit. Navy blue. No wrinkles. "You look good, Dad." "Don't lie to me." Eric laughed. It felt good to hear. Daniels lives in that new development off Highway 7, the nice one with the brick mailboxes. They drove in comfortable silence. The radio played country music. Eric tapped his fingers on the steering wheel. Michael watched the houses get bigger as they drove. Manicured lawns. 2-car garages. American flags hanging perfectly still in the humid Texas evening. That's it. The one with the white columns. He pulled into the driveway. 3 other cars were already there. The house was massive. 2 stories, probably 4 bedrooms, maybe 5. Your boss does all right for himself. Yeah, meanwhile I'm splitting rent with 2 roommates. Eric turned off the engine. Ready? Michael wasn't ready, would never be ready, but he opened the door anyway. His legs felt heavy as he walked up the stone path to the front door. Eric rang the doorbell. It played a melody. Fancy. Footsteps inside. The door opened. Time stopped. The man standing in the doorway was tall, fit, clean cut. He wore slacks and a polo shirt. His smile was professional, welcoming. His eyes were brown. Michael knew those eyes. He'd seen them before, 20 years ago, filled with terror instead of confidence, covered in blood and sand and tears. "Eric, glad you could make it." The man's voice was strong now. It used to scream, used to beg, used to cry for his mother. "And you must be Eric's father." He extended his hand. Michael couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. His heart hammered against his ribs like it wanted to escape. The world tilted sideways. Not here, not now, not him. "Dad?" Eric's voice came from somewhere far away. "You okay?" Captain Daniels stood there, hand out, smile fading into concern. He didn't recognize Michael. Why would he? Michael had a beard back then, weighed 30 pounds more, wore a uniform covered in blood, this man's blood. Michael's mouth opened. Nothing came out. He forced his hand forward, shook. The grip was firm, warm, alive. "Michael Ross, nice to meet you." The words felt like glass in his throat. "David Daniels, come in please, we're just getting started." David stepped aside. Michael's boots felt like concrete blocks as he crossed the threshold. The house smelled like grilled meat and fresh paint. Everything was clean, perfect. No dust, no clutter. Pictures on the walls showed David in different uniforms, different ranks, smiling, alive. "Eric, the others are out back. Help yourself to drinks in the kitchen." David pointed down the hallway. His wedding ring caught the light.
Gold. Shiny. New. Eric looked at Michael. "You coming?" "Yeah, just need to use the bathroom first." "Down the hall. First door on the right," David said. He was already walking toward the back of the house, toward the sound of voices and laughter. Michael found the bathroom, locked the door, gripped the sink. The marble was cold under his palms. He stared at himself in the mirror. His face was white. Sweat beaded on his forehead. His breathing came in short gasps. This wasn't happening. Couldn't be happening. Of all the people, of all the cities in Texas, of all the companies Eric could work for. He turned on the faucet, splashed cold water on his face. It helped. A little. He dried off with a hand towel that was too nice to actually use, put it back exactly how he found it. He could leave. Fake sick. Eric would understand. Except Eric wouldn't understand because Eric didn't know. Nobody knew. Michael never talked about Iraq, never talked about that day, never talked about the convoy or the fire or the boy bleeding out in the sand, the boy who was now a man, a boss. Eric's boss. Michael opened the door, walked down the hallway. Family photos lined the walls. David as a kid, David in high school football uniform, David at graduation. Then a gap. Nothing from the war years. Then David in dress blues. David's wedding. David holding a baby. He survived. Built a life. That was supposed to be enough. That was supposed to make it worth it. The backyard was huge. A deck with a gas grill, string lights hanging from the fence. A pool that glowed blue in the fading light. 6 people stood around holding beers and mixed drinks. Eric was talking to a woman with blonde hair. She laughed at something he said. David stood by the grill, flipping burgers. He saw Michael and waved. "Michael, what can I get you to drink? We've got beer, wine, soda, water." "Oh, water's fine." "You sure? I've got some good craft IPAs in the cooler." "Water." It came out sharper than Michael intended. David's smile flickered. "Sure thing." He walked to a red cooler, pulled out a bottle, handed it to Michael. Their fingers touched for a second. Michael pulled back like he'd been shocked. "You all right, man?" David asked. His voice was lower now, concerned. "You look a little pale." "I'm fine, just hot." "Yeah, Texas in October's brutal. Should cool down soon, though." David went back to the grill, pressed the burgers down with the spatula. Fat sizzled and popped. The smell made Michael's stomach turn. Eric appeared at his side. "Eric, this is Jennifer. She works in accounting." Jennifer smiled. She had kind eyes, probably late 20s. "Nice to meet you, Mr. Ross." "Michael's fine." "Eric was just telling you work at Henderson's Hardware. I love that place. The staff actually knows what they're talking about." Michael nodded, took a sip of water. His throat was so dry the water barely helped. "And you're a veteran, right? Thank you for your service." There it was. Michael forced a smile. "Long time ago. My dad was in the Navy. He doesn't talk about it much either." She meant well. They always meant well. "Food's ready," David called out. Everyone moved toward the deck. Paper plates, plastic utensils, potato salad and coleslaw and big bowls, burgers and hot dogs piled high. They sat at a long table. Michael ended up directly across from David. Eric sat next to Michael. Jennifer took the seat next to Eric. The others filled in the spaces. Tommy, the guy Eric mentioned, his girlfriend. 2 other warehouse workers whose names Michael immediately forgot. "So, before we eat, I just want to say something." David stood up. Everyone got quiet. He looked around the table. His eyes lingered on each person.
"I know I've been hard on you guys. I know you probably think I'm a jerk sometimes." Tommy snorted. Everyone laughed. David smiled. "But I need you to understand something. I care about this job because I care about you. Every single one of you goes home safe at the end of the day. That's my only priority. Not profits, not efficiency ratings, you." He paused, looked down at his plate. "I learned that lesson a long time ago, the hard way." Michael's chest constricted. "Don't say it. Please don't say it." "I was in the Army, Iraq, 2004. I was 20 years old. Thought I knew everything. Thought I was invincible.
David's voice got quieter. Our convoy got hit. IED. My vehicle flipped, caught fire. I was trapped inside. Broken leg. Couldn't move. Smoke everywhere. I thought I was dead. Jennifer put her hand over her mouth. Tommy leaned forward. Eric stared at David with wide eyes. Someone pulled me out. A soldier I didn't know. Never got his name. Never saw his face clearly. Everything was chaos. Explosions. Gunfire. He dragged me maybe 50 yards, away from the vehicle, right before it exploded. David's eyes were wet now. He saved my life, then disappeared. I woke up 3 days later in a field hospital. Asked everyone who my rescuer was. Nobody knew. Michael couldn't breathe. The world was shrinking. The edges of his vision went dark. I think about that guy every single day. Wonder if he made it home. Wonder if he knows what he gave me. A wife, a daughter, this life. David wiped his eyes. So yeah, I'm strict. I'm demanding. Because I know how fast it can all disappear. How one mistake, one moment of carelessness can end everything. Everyone was silent. Then Tommy started clapping. Others joined. David sat down, picked up his burger, took a bite. That's heavy, boss. I never knew. Not something I talk about much. David looked at Michael, really looked at him. Something shifted in his expression. Confusion, recognition trying to surface. You were in Iraq too, right? Eric mentioned it. Michael's hand tightened around the water bottle. The plastic crackled. Yeah. What unit? 3rd Infantry Division. David's eyebrows went up. No kidding. What years? 2003 to 2005. I was with the 1st Armored Division. We probably crossed paths. David leaned back in his chair, studying Michael's face. Something shifted in his expression. Confusion, recognition trying to surface. Where were you stationed? Different places, moved around a lot. Eric jumped in. Dad doesn't really like talking about it. I got that. I respect that. But it's just... Have we met before? You look familiar. Michael's heart stopped. Started again. Too fast. I don't think so. Huh. Weird. Shook his head. Smiled. Probably just one of those faces. Dinner continued. People talked, laughed, told stories. Michael heard none of it. He moved food around his plate, pretended to eat. Eric kept glancing at him, worried. After an hour, Michael stood up. I need to get going. Early shift tomorrow. Dad, it's Friday. You don't work Saturdays. I do tomorrow. Inventory. The lie came easily. Eric sighed. Okay, let me say goodbye. Michael walked toward the house, away from the lights and voices. David caught up to him at the back door. Hey, Michael, wait up. David's hand landed on Michael's shoulder. Michael flinched, spun around. His fist came up instinctively, stopped inches from David's face. David stumbled backward, hands up, eyes wide. Whoa, sorry. I didn't mean to startle you. They stood there, frozen. Michael's hand shook. He lowered it slowly. I'm sorry, Michael whispered. No, that's on me. I shouldn't have grabbed you. David's voice was gentle now, understanding. PTSD? Michael didn't answer. I get nightmares too, 3 times a week. My wife has to sleep in another room sometimes. David stepped closer, careful. Whatever you saw over there, whatever you did, it wasn't your fault. You know that, right? You don't know what I did. Maybe not, but I know you made it home. That's what matters. Eric appeared in the doorway. Ready, Dad?
If this story is hitting you in the chest, smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss stories that make you feel something real. Drop a comment telling me if you saw that twist coming. Now let's finish this. They drove in silence for 10 minutes. Eric kept glancing over. Michael stared out the window. Streetlights flashed by like tracers. "What happened back there?" Eric finally asked. "Nothing." "Don't give me that. You almost punched my boss in the face." "He surprised me." "Dad." Eric's voice was hard now, angry. "You've been weird all night. You barely ate, you barely talked, then you freak out when he touches your shoulder. What's going on?" Michael didn't answer. Couldn't answer. The words were stuck somewhere between his chest and his throat. 20 years of words. 20 years of silence. "This is why Mom left, you know." Eric's hands gripped the steering wheel tight, white knuckles. "You never let anyone in. Not her, not me. You just walk around like a ghost in your own life." "That's not fair." "Isn't it?" Eric pulled into Michael's driveway, put the car in park. Didn't turn it off. "I'm trying, Dad. I've been trying my whole life to understand you. To get past whatever wall you built. But you won't let me." Michael opened the door. "Thanks for the ride." "That's it? That's all you're going to say?" Michael got out, closed the door, watched Eric drive away. Taillights disappeared around the corner. Then he was alone, in the dark. In the silence that never felt silent because his head was always screaming. He went inside, sat in his chair, didn't turn on the lights. The house settled around him, creaking, breathing. He closed his eyes, and he was back there. The desert, the heat that made the air shimmer, the convoy rolling down Route Irish, Humvees kicking up dust, radio chatter, someone telling a joke about a stripper in Atlanta. Then the world exploded. The lead vehicle lifted off the ground, flipped sideways. Fire bloomed orange and black. Michael's driver slammed the brakes. Everyone was yelling, "Grab your rifle. Get out. Cover positions. Return fire." But Michael saw the gunner from the lead vehicle. Trapped. The door crushed inward. Flames crawling up the side. A kid, maybe 20, screaming, beating against the window. Orders were clear. Secure the perimeter. Wait for EOD. Don't approach the vehicle. Could be a secondary device. Could be an ambush. Michael ran anyway. Bullets pinged off the sand around him. Someone shouted his name. He didn't stop. Reached the vehicle. The heat was unbearable. The kid inside was crying, blood running down his face. His leg twisted at an angle that wasn't natural. Michael grabbed the door handle, burned his hand. Didn't care. Yanked. It didn't move. Yanked again. The metal groaned. Gave. The door opened 6 inches. Not enough. "I can't get out. I can't move." The kid's voice was high, panicked, young. "Yes, you can. You're going to squeeze through right now." Michael pulled harder. The door opened another few inches. "Come on." The kid pushed, screamed when his broken leg shifted, but he pushed. Wormed his way through the gap. Michael grabbed his vest, dragged him out. The kid couldn't walk. Michael threw him over his shoulder, fireman carry. Started running. The vehicle exploded behind them. The blast wave knocked Michael forward. He hit the ground hard. The kid rolled off his shoulder. Michael's ears rang. Tasted blood. Couldn't hear. Couldn't think. Hands grabbed him, pulled him up. Someone was yelling, but Michael couldn't hear the words. They dragged him and the kid to cover, behind another Humvee. Medic appeared, started working on the kid. Michael sat there, watching. The kid's eyes found his, mouthed 2 words. "Thank you." Then they loaded him onto a helicopter. Michael never saw him again, never learned his name. Filed a report, got chewed out by his co for disobeying orders.
almost got an Article 15. Would have if the kid hadn't survived. Instead, they quietly gave him a medal he never wore and told him to forget about it. He tried. God, he tried. Michael's phone rang. He jolted back to the present. The living room. The dark. He looked at the screen. Eric. Yeah? Dad. I need you to listen to me. Don't hang up. Eric's voice was shaky. Daniels just called me. Michael's blood went cold. What? He couldn't sleep. Said something was bothering him. About you. About tonight. He looked up your service record. Public information. Matched the dates, the unit, the location. Then he found an old report about a soldier who pulled a Private David Daniels from a burning vehicle on Route Irish, March 17, 2004. Eric. Dad, it was you. You saved him.
Michael couldn't speak. The phone felt heavy in his hand. He's on his way to your house right now. He wants to talk to you. No. Michael stood up, started pacing. Tell him not to come. Tell him I don't want to see him. Too late. He's already driving. Eric was crying now. Michael could hear it. Why didn't you tell me? All this time I've been complaining about him and you knew? You knew who he was? I didn't know. Not until tonight. Not until I opened that door. But then why didn't you say something? Why didn't you tell him? Because it doesn't matter. Michael's voice rose, filled the empty house. It was my job. I did my job. He doesn't owe me anything. Dad, he has a life, a good life, a family. He doesn't need some broken-down old man showing up as a reminder of the worst day he ever lived. Headlights swept across the living room window. A car pulled into the driveway. Engine cut off. Door slammed. He's here, Michael whispered. Then talk to him. Please, just talk to him. Michael hung up. The doorbell rang. He didn't move. It rang again. Then knocking. Michael, I know you're in there. Please. David's voice was muffled through the door. I just want to talk. Michael walked to the door, put his hand on the knob. 20 years. 20 years of carrying this, of wondering if it was worth it, if anything was worth it. He opened the door. David stood on the porch, still in his polo shirt and slacks. His eyes were red. He'd been crying. In his hand was a folder. Papers. It was you. David's voice broke. All this time, 20 years, it was you. Michael nodded. I looked for you. I tried to find you. Nobody would tell me your name, classified or some bureaucratic nonsense. I wrote letters, made calls, hit brick walls everywhere. David stepped forward. You saved my life. I did my job. No. David shook his head. Orders were to stay back, wait for EOD. I read the report. You disobeyed a direct order. You ran into fire and bullets and explosions because you couldn't watch me die. Any soldier would have done the same. But they didn't. You did. David's face crumpled. I have a daughter. She's 4 years old. Her name is Emma. She loves dinosaurs and mac and cheese, and she makes me read the same book every night, The Hungry Caterpillar, every single night. Tears ran down his face. She exists because of you. My wife exists because of you. Everything I have, everything I am, is because you decided I was worth saving. Michael's legs gave out. He sat down hard on the porch step. David sat next to him. 2 middle-aged men, crying in the dark. I don't feel like a hero, Michael said. I feel like a fraud. I saved you, and I can't even save myself. What do you mean? The nightmares, the anxiety, the way I can't be around people, can't hold a relationship, can't be the father Eric deserves. Michael put his head in his hands. You got to move on, build something. I've been stuck in that moment for 20 years. David was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke. I go to therapy, twice a week, have been for 15 years. I take medication. I have panic attacks in grocery stores.
Last month, I had a breakdown in my car because a helicopter flew overhead. He looked at Michael. I'm not fixed. I'm just fighting. Every single day. I'm tired of fighting. I know. Me too sometimes. David put his hand on Michael's shoulder. Gentle this time. Michael didn't flinch. But we keep doing it anyway. You know why? Michael shook his head. Because people need us. Eric needs you. Even when you think you're failing him, you're not. You showed up tonight even though it terrified you. That's courage. That's love. And I need you too. I spent 20 years wanting to thank the man who gave me my life back. Let me do that, please. Michael took his hand. Let David pull him to his feet. Thank you. David's voice was steady now, strong. Thank you for running into the fire. Thank you for not leaving me. Thank you for being brave when I couldn't be. Thank you for giving me Emma. Thank you for everything. Michael broke. 20 years of holding it together. 20 years of silence. It all came out. David held them while he sobbed. 2 soldiers. 2 survivors. 2 men who carried the same day in different ways. When Michael finally stopped, David stepped back, wiped his eyes. Eric's a good kid. You raised him right. His mom did most of it. But he came back to you. That means something. David pulled out his phone, typed something. I'm texting you my therapist's number. She specializes in veterans. She saved my life as much as you did. Michael's phone buzzed. He looked at the number. Didn't delete it. And one more thing. David smiled. Small but real. I'm taking Eric off warehouse floor duty, promoting him to logistics coordinator. Better pay, better hours. He earned it. You don't have to do that. I'm not doing it because of you. I'm doing it because he's good at his job, but also maybe a little because of you. David walked toward his car, turned back. We're having brunch on Sunday, my house, 11 a.m. Bring Eric, meet Emma. She'll probably make you play dinosaurs. I don't know if I can. Try. That's all I ask. Just try. David got in his car, drove away. Michael stood on his porch in the dark. His phone rang again. Eric. Dad? I'm okay. What happened? Michael looked up at the sky. Stars fought through the light pollution. Dim, but there, still burning. I think maybe something good, for once. Can I come over? I'm still awake, we could talk. Michael thought about saying no, about retreating back into silence, into safety. But David was right. People needed him. Eric needed him. Even when he thought he was failing him, he wasn't. You showed up tonight even though it terrified you. That's courage. That's love. Yeah. Come over. I'll make coffee. Thanks, Dad. Michael hung up, went inside, put the coffee on. While it brewed, he looked at the number David sent, stared at it for a long time. Then he saved it to his contacts. Didn't call. Not yet. But he saved it. That was enough for tonight. Small steps, one foot in front of the other. The same way he'd carried David out of the fire. The same way he'd carry himself out of this. Behind him, headlights turned into the driveway. Eric was home. Michael opened the door before his son could knock. They looked at each other. Father and son. Both carrying weight. Both still standing. Come in, Michael said. And Eric did.
If this story broke you open, you're not alone. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications because I'm bringing you more raw, emotional stories every week. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Veterans, your stories matter. We see you. Now go watch the next one. You won't regret it.